Hello everyone, I am Dr. Eric Morrison. This is 7 Under 3, and I'll be covering trading education using the TC2000 and TradingView platforms. Hello, this is the FOREX Week in Review with the 28 majors and minors and 2 exotics that we have commitment to trader data on. And what I would like to go over is not only the commitment of traders for the week, the ones that were crowded long and the commercials went well below the 6-month average with respect to the traders on the other side, the retail and institutional traders that were crowded out on the long side. So we're going to start with Aussie dollar Swiss franc. As you can see here, commitment of traders is crowded short. It is more long on the commercials, but still below the 6-month average. And for the week, we got a profit of $422 on one standard lot. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, same thing. However, we did get a loss day before Thanksgiving, $214. Aussie dollar, US dollar, still slightly below the 6-month average, crowded short. However, commercials are more long overall, and price continued to move up with all this beautiful liquidity down here to crowd out the retail and institutional traders. Profit of $668 for the week. Next trade was Euro Aussie dollar. We see that they are crowded out long to the long side. They are more short. The commercials are more short, which pretty much held to the entire direction for the week. Nice profit of $886. Euro Canadian dollar, also below its 6-month average. Commercials are more short, crowded out long. We had a small profit of $105 for the week. Euro Swiss franc, also crowded out long to the long side. Commercials went more short, however still above the 6-month average, and is still hanging up just below the 200 moving day average here. Got a loss of $21. Euro British pound, beautiful overall move, crowded long. Commercials went short, more short on the long side, well below the 6-month average, and started its overall trend, squeezing these institutional retail traders. Overall profit of $663. Euro Japanese yen, also crowded long. Commercials went more short, below the 6-month average. Getting a little toppy here for Euro Japanese yen. We did squeak out overall profit of $317. Euro New Zealand, also crowded long to the long side. Commercials went more short. It's still above the 6-month average. As you can see here, we got a nice M formation happening here with price continuing to go to the downside. And that's the kind of general theme here, is once you see commercials starting to make their move to that particular price direction, price tends to follow that. Euro US dollar, crowded long. Commercials did go more short on the 13th, however still above the 6-month average. And as you can see, the price is continuing to drift up after this overall initial hedge here. As commercials started moving up, price started moving up. Overall profit of $42. British pound, Aussie dollar, same thing. Crowded long just barely, right over the 50% mark. Commercials are more long, well above the 6-month average. So this is a very weak short. And as you can see here, it's kind of consolidating. We got the C-zone here happening in here, almost a super pinch. You got the RL270 up here, but this is definitely a pinch here right now. It's gaining energy to see whether or not it'll go up or down. Overall loss of $95. British pound, Swiss franc, also crowded short side and well above 6-month average. As commercials move up to the upside, we're still pretty close to the 50% mark, but price is starting to climb. And we got a nice gain of $431 for the week. British pound, New Zealand dollar. Again, we have another consolidation here. C-zone with 50% just barely crowded short to the short side. And with that, this chop traded this week was a loss of $568. British pound, US dollar. Beautiful crowded short position with more commercials on the 13th going long, and as price follows in suit. As we saw, institutional traders go more short and retail traders go more long. Beautiful crowded trade. Overall profit of $995. New Zealand Canadian dollar, also price started moving in the up direction. We did have an overall loss of $301 on Thursday. New Zealand Swiss franc, also consolidating here, almost a super pinch. So you can start to see everything consolidating. We got a consolidation zone here, consolidation zone here. So this currency pair is not trending. However, it is crowded out to the long side just barely over 50%. Overall loss, $690. Something to take into consideration here when you got consolidation zones and you've got a week long or week short crowded. Make sure you take that in consideration in terms of overall risk management. Loss of $690. Zealand Japanese yen. Commercials went more short on the 13th of November, and as you can see here, some chinks in the armor as price tries to go up, started going massively down and right back up. Overall loss of $44. Zealand US dollar. US dollar seems to reign supreme here, up against the R200 moving day average. Z3 excursion. We got two confluences of liquidity zones happening, potentially a bounce off this liquidity zone. Nice overall gain for the week of $680. US dollar, Canadian dollar started its overall descent to the downside, as you can see in the overall thing, well below the dragon, all the way headed down, broke out of this consolidation zone, went more short on the 6th and then more short on the 13th. So incredibly crowded long position here with institutional traders way up here and retail following suit. Got a lot of liquidity for this nice squeeze, probably headed to the RL270. Squeak out a trade here, about $19. However, if you stayed in it through the whole thing, your trades with this kind of movement and price action have more gains if you stayed within it. US dollar, Swiss franc, less short on the 13th. However, it's collapsed here as far as overall price. Crowded the long side, 80 and 61%, pretty high. Institutional traders went more long, and they got totally squeezed throughout this entire process. We have a confluence of Z3 excursion, Z3, and the RL270 happening here, so expect a bounce unless price closes below 0.87951. Overall profit of $212 for the week. US dollar, Japanese yen, one of the big movers here. Pretty much all the Japanese yen pairs did move. Most crowded out to the long side at 84% and 52%. The institutional traders even more so crowded out, starting to lose its overall strength and price to the upside, just hanging on to the RL270 right now. We could see more price action to the downside. Overall gain of $839 for the week. Looking at the exotics, we have the Swiss franc, South African rand. Crowded to the long side. Beautiful trade here going into this week. Overall gain $3,082 for the week. Beautiful gains, and all foretold pretty much by the overall positioning. Crowded out to the short side, 68 and 61, with commercial well above the 6-month average. Euro South African rand, on the other hand, commercials did go more short on the November. However, it's still above the 6-month average, and price continued to go up even though it was crowded long. So price shot up along with all the South African rand pairs. Loss of $161. British pound, South African rand, beautiful trade here. Crowd out to the short side, went more long, as you can see a significant more long, well above the 6-month average. And price shot up with an overall gain, our largest gain for the week, $3,945 in one standard lot. US Mexican peso, as you can see here, commercials well below the 6-month average, and as you can see it's a week long. They are crowded to the short side at 58%, 61%. However, this shows a lot of price action to the downside, as you saw here, with overall price moving to the downside as commercials go below its 6-month average. US dollar, South African rand, all the South African rand pairs pretty much went up, as you can see here. Overall loss of $1,346 for the week. Commercials are well above the 6-month average, even though they went more short on the 6th and the 13th. It's crowded alongside 64%, 52%. Nice overall trade with South African rand, Japanese yen. Crowded to the long side by institutional traders. Went more long as commercial traders went more short in this sense. And as you can see, this general decline overall in price. Again, overall gains of $141. So looking at the week, traded 5 days through the week and also through Thanksgiving, but something to note, every time we get close to the holidays, the volume on the Forex starts to evaporate in terms of liquidity. Our best gains were on the 20th and 21st. Our worst drawdowns were on the 22nd and the 23rd. And then right after the Thanksgiving holiday on the 23rd, went right back into gains during that week. Overall gains for the week for the majors and minors were $4,958. If we did not trade on Thanksgiving, which was low liquidity, there would have been a gain, additional gain of $1,107 for the week. For the exotics, same kind of scenario. There were gains on the 20th, 21st, 22nd, losses on the 23rd due to liquidity, and then a small gain on the 24th. Overall gains were $5,646 with an additional $477 if we did not trade the Thanksgiving holiday during periods of low liquidity. Overall gains for the entire week were $10K. Without trading on Thanksgiving, would have been up to $12K. So there's something to consider when you have holidays here in the U.S. It does affect the overall volume trading and liquidity within the currency markets for the rest of the world. Well, folks, that's all I have for the Forex Week in Review. If you're interested in these kind of strategies going forward, or programming in both PineScript or Python and auto trading, click on the links below. And remember, ruthless risk management. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday.
Well, if you like this video, hit the like rumble button below and the subscribe button. And if you want more information, click the course information links below. On the TradingView link and on TC2000, I have an affiliate link. If you open up a TC2000 account, you will receive a $25 discount using that link. Thank you for your time.